Tuesday morning. It was about 8:30. And they called for a physician to come to one of our critical care rooms.
Doctor to room 3, STEMI activation.
And it was one of those cases where you kind of immediately walk in and you pause and you say, okay, she's sick.
I walk 3.5 miles every day, and then in the summer when I'm not teaching, I go to the Y and I lift weights. But I had been having shortness of breath, and that had happened several times. A couple of times my husband had to come and pick me up because I couldn't go any further.
Linda got up first, makes coffee. She came out of the kitchen and laid down on the bed, which was unusual. And she says, I'm really tired and I can't breathe very well.
Then I said, Gary, maybe we should call 911.
Those folks came in, they didn't say anything, they went right to work. She was not responsive at that time.
The ambulance drivers thought it was a heart attack.
She was either having a heart attack, or she was having an aortic dissection, or she was having a pulmonary embolism. And so they very quickly got her EKG and showed it to me, and it did not show that she was having a heart attack at all. And so I immediately asked them to get her over to CT scan as quickly as we could to look for a pulmonary embolism in her chest, but to also look at her aorta to see if she did have a dissection. And within minutes, they wheeled her right back and they said, Dr. Owen, come back to the room. We could not get the scan. She's coding.
Went to the hospital and just walked right back into where the emergency room is. In the room, I could see they were doing CPR.
And her husband had just rounded the corner. So I sat down, I just very delicately explained the situation to him. We're at a point where we've been doing CPR consistently for 30 minutes. And I turned to him and I said, looks like she probably has a PE. I think we should give her TPA.
And so they gave her that, and they were still doing CPR. And after about 30 seconds after that drug, she responded.
First time we'd registered a blood pressure since she'd come in, and we all sat there for the next 15 minutes to make sure that she was stable. As soon as she arrived in the ICU, she was cannulated, set up for ECMO, immediately went down to interventional radiology, and they extracted as much clot as they possibly could, which was unbelievable.
I received a call from my dad at about 9:30 a.m. So when I arrived, I was extremely distraught. I was a mess, right? You don't know what you're walking into, and of course your mind goes to the worst. So I was quickly escorted to a room where I was immediately greeted by Dr. Owen.
Her daughter ran in, and I grabbed her daughter for 1 second and I said, I just want to take 2 minutes to introduce myself to you, because a lot happened down here and I want to be able to download everything to you very quickly.
It was very real, and you see death in the face whether you realize it or not.
I didn't think that Linda was going to make it, and I wanted to make sure that they understood how sick she was, and so I spent a little extra time to make sure she did.
To hear and to think and process that you're going to lose your mom without having said goodbye, without closing out on text, whatever that was a lot to process. So Dr. Owen, she was absolutely, remarkable. She was calm, she was collective, but she made eye contact. She sat me down, she grabbed my hand, she introduced herself. She explained the situation, she explained her understanding of what had happened that morning. She shared the high-level details of what happened in the ER. She did speak in layman terms so we could understand, and I got the gist of it. You just felt, okay, we're gonna be okay, and if I'm not okay, then I get it. I understand that this woman, led a team that did everything she could.
I remember somebody saying, I just wonder if she'll ever wake up. And in my heart of hearts, I thought, an hour of CPR, chances are slim, right? Chances are slim. And then I think it was probably 2 days later, our cardiology PA, Peter Kunkel, texted me and he said, I just wanted to give you an update. She's responding to us. She's still intubated and she's still slightly sedated, but they asked her to squeeze their hand and she's following commands. I mean, the whole hospital lit up.
We were there when she started responding, and she had trouble opening her eyes a little bit. She wasn't verbal at all, really, when she woke up, but she was. You could see her eyes, and then, you know, we went through a day of just her eyes looking straight ahead, and that was probably the scariest, because you're going, okay, she's back, but she's not fully back. And then the next day, you're like, holy cow, she would make another hurdle, and it was like every day she would cross a major milestone.
She was discharged from the hospital to home, walked out of the hospital on her own, completely neurologically intact.
From hearing stories of other situations like this, I knew it was unusual. I knew it really didn't happen often. I was very impressed afterwards when you go back and you think about what happened and what could have happened. I said, boy, she came out of this pretty doggone good.
Then several days after being home, she started coming back to the hospital to greet and to thank everyone that cared for her, which is so rewarding.
So I was so glad that I went. Dr. Owen is my hero, and the guys in the ambulance. Everybody was when I so lucky I got to meet them. They were all, it's like I'd known them forever. They were so warm and welcoming to me.
It was incredible. It was really incredible. And I'm so thankful for the outcome, right? I mean, so thankful.